Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I have no intro set for this. I kind of wanted to get back with this channel, sort of some of the things that I really wanted to talk about. Like I do all my geek stuff over on Geekset, and I just started playing games on this channel. But that got away from what I really wanted it to be, which was like tech, filmmaking stuff, and like everything around that. And so to get back to that, obviously there's rumors of an Apple event coming up by the end of the month. And I feel like where there's smoke, that there's fire. So Trayvon, I wanted to bring you back, my good friend Nerd with the tech, so we can go through all of these, just all of the rumors, obviously. But first, let's talk Apple Intelligence because I feel like that is the big topic within Apple. If you're not talking about the new upcoming products, because there's so many ads about it, so many things talking about how great it's going to be, but we're a month out from when the iPhone 16 and 16 Pro came out, and there's still no Apple Intelligence. So let's get into that first and foremost. You were saying, you haven't tried the beta, right?
I have not. Well, I've tried the just iOS 18, which you assumed would have Apple Intelligence in it,
Yeah,
but it does not.
right.
Um, but what's been annoying about it? 'Cause, they talk about how it's supposed to be handle your personal context of things. Like if you answer the question inside of a certain app, it should understand what you're asking it for instead
Right.
of you completely explaining yourself. And Siri is supposed to be smarter, and all these different things that it's supposed to do. And I was like, well, when are we actually gonna get it on these phones? And you're toning it where by in all the iPhone 16 commercials built for Apple Intelligence. Like you keep saying that, but then you'll show it. You'll show somebody pushing the Siri button and you'll show the little new animation. And
It
I'm like,
Oh
false
my god.
advertisement. False
Let me tell
advertisement.
you, when I upgraded to iOS 18, I thought I was for sure getting that new animation. At the very, even if it wasn't the Apple Intelligence, I
Yeah.
was like, we'll get the new Siri animation. It'll look cool. When it was the same old thing, I was like, this is like you said,
I
this
was
is
like,
false advertisement.
where's my I can make my own emoji. Where's all
Yeah,
that at? Where's all that stuff? I
you
want all
can't.
that.
Yeah, you can't sell me on all of that and then not deliver on it. And to your point of like the Apple Intelligence thing, if you like, I'm in the process of looking for a new computer, like a new laptop at least.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at all the M3 MacBooks, obviously just trying to hold out probably for the
Let's see.
M4 ones, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about that later. But
Mm-hmm.
if you look on Best Buy, all of their Macs now say M3 built for Apple Intelligence, and it's like, is it? Because is Apple Intelligence out? Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like they keep saying that. I'm like, well, are you gonna limit certain things to some of these
right.
devices? You say they're all compatible, but will they be? Like, is that why you're staggering it like this? Like,
Right.
you
Like
know?
what is going to be different from an M4 to an M3, M2 and
Yeah.
on so on that Apple Intelligence has? Like if that's your big thing, what's the reason somebody should wait for this new one?
Yeah, I don't know. I just really feel like I can't believe they're advertising the way they're doing it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like anybody goes and buys this phone right now out of the store, it does not have it on there.
No.
So it's like, how do somebody might some techie might be like, they'll go and push the button. They were like, it didn't do what it did in that commercial. like for real. Like it's just like what is that? Like why would you even do that? And they're talking about coming this fall. Like
But what is this
hopefully during
fall?
the October event, hopefully. But that
I
could mean November.
It
Like
could. And I
you
think
know,
that's sort of their issue. I didn't see, let me click back onto the beta thing. And if it tells me what beta number it is for 18. So they're on beta 3 for 18.1.
okay.
I don't know how many they're going to have before they get to like a release candidate and say it's out for everyone. But it looks like it's not the first beta at least. So it's frustrating. Like every time I see built for Apple Intelligence, I just sort of smirk a little bit because it's like, don't tell me that, get it out there.
Yeah, I
And
don't know.
I don't
Even
know.
what's like the photo feature that they added where you can clear things out the back, like clear things out of the picture, take stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
All those little even that little stuff is still not available. Like I was like, all those little things they showed at WWDC, none of that is there. None
It
of those things.
it really
I'm
feels
like,
like they saw what Google did, they saw what Samsung did with obviously the Pixel and the Galaxy, and they were like, "Well, we got to continue to sell these AI features, even if they're not ready. We just need you to buy the phone first, and we can drip feed them to you." And it's I'm curious if it's going to backfire. Apple's kind of like a cult in that way, where it's like the people who are super Apple, they're going to buy it anyway. But like, well, things need polishing. But how will the average consumer take it? Is my big thing.
Yeah, I mean, you would think maybe some people just don't care.
Yeah,
Some people are like, oh, it's fine, whatever. But I'm like, but if you watch it, like, the recap videos, you watch like that's all the stuff they talk about. It's not about. I mean, these phones, like the phones are like very small iterative updates. Like they
yeah,
aren't a huge update. Like yeah, you have the new camera control button. That's not, and all of them got the action button now. If you had
yeah.
the 15 Pro, you already had the action button. So it's like
Right.
okay,
So if you had a phone that's going to be able to utilize, Apple Intelligence, you got a fifth button now, and it's like, do you
yeah,
really care about a fifth button?
yeah. Well, you actually use it,
Yeah,
like
because the
you
placement
know.
of it is kind of weird. Like if I'm holding my
They
phone like
expect you to hold it
this,
like this. They expect you to do it like,
but
yeah, I don't
I
know.
feel like even naturally, am I holding it like this and it works? Like, I don't really hold my phone like this, even when I'm doing it like that when I'm taking pictures with it, because it's on the left side, right? Or is it
Yeah,
on the? Is it
it's over
on?
here. It's over here. It should be
Okay,
right here. Yeah.
so maybe
It's on the
maybe it'll
right
work
side.
out. I gotta
Yeah.
watch some more videos on it. I would not personally be upgrading to the 16. I don't feel the need. I have the 15 Pro Max.
No, I've already said my next one to be the 18.
Ooh,
Uh,
so those 17.
because the reason I even upgraded to this one is because of them adding the dynamic island and the USB
Mm-hmm.
C. When they did USB C and the USB C was the main one of the main reasons.
I'll give you that because it was the same for me.
Yeah, and then the dynamic island was cool. I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're change. They're slowly getting to where I want them to be, where the sensors are under the screen, and there's nothing there. You can show something there if you want to, but if I'm watching a video, there's nothing disrupting anything. That's
Right.
what I'm slowly hoping they get to. I know those like under screen cameras and stuff aren't ready really yet because
Fair.
even Samsung's been doing it for years now, and the one that so the inside screen of the Fold, they do have the under screen camera, but
Mm.
it's it's not the greatest.
Okay.
The quality is not there yet for a screen to be over it like that.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
it's it's not there yet, and that's probably why Apple hasn't done it. But like I said, the next time I upgrade to hopefully 18, and in my mind, that's when they'll make another screen change. I was
Mm.
He's not going anywhere. The thing I expect them to change next will be the screen, the full actual full screen iPhone, which would be very cool.
A
Um,
full screen iPhone would be nice, but I'm not gonna lie. The dynamic island, it's
oh,
gotten a lot of use for me
yeah,
because, like, especially for music. Like I
yeah,
love the fact that when I'm listening to something, I can sort of see it right there, click
yeah,
right into it, it pops up, go to the
yes,
next track, do whatever. I don't have to fully open an app. And
yeah,
like I know you could usually just swipe down and do it, but it's something about just being able to one less click, it pops up and I'm good to go. I love
yeah,
that.
yeah. And for me, with the Diner Island, one thing I like the most is when you're using certain apps, they just go right up there, and you can see
Hmm.
it like Uber Eats,
Yep.
anything like that. They'll utilize it, and I
Yep.
do like that. I like stuff like that. It made it a useful area,
Right.
rather than the cutout that it was before. There was
Right.
no use there. So I do like that.
Yeah,
Um,
ESPN uses it a lot. I use it a lot for that too. Like I'll
yeah,
whatever game I'm really tracking, if I'm on the go, boom, the score is right there. I don't have to go back into the ESPN app, try to find that game again, get the score. So yeah, you're right. I do like that, but I'm not gonna act like a full screen iPhone wouldn't also be amazing.
yeah,
Like
yeah. Um, yeah. I mean that was like I was hoping. I was like, oh, I hope the 15 Pro can still do this. And once they said that, I was like, okay, solidified it for me. Then if
right,
it can do
fair.
that, that's at least something that they'll keep on the 15 Pro at least for a while. Then, so
Mm-hmm.
I'll be fine with keeping this for a while. I don't like the USB C is enough for me, and
Yeah.
I admit it was blue, so I was like,
I
the
got blue as
the
well.
15 Pro Max is blue, so I was like, I'm gonna go for it.
You're
I
not
admit,
wrong.
I admit.
they are very stingy sometimes with the colors in the pro
They
models.
are.
So
They are.
I had to jump at it being blue.
Yeah.
I get you. I probably won't. I definitely won't be upgrading to the 16.
Yeah.
We'll see about the 17. Like you said, it does have to be something that's game changing, sort of blow
Yeah,
me away.
a really good feature that makes you want it. Like
Hmm.
the camera button was not the thing that I was like, I don't care. Like I was like, all right, it's a cool button. I'm sure
Right.
somebody will like it, but my
Eh,
camera works just fine. I can get to it fast now.
Yep. I put
That's
I
fine.
put my camera on my action button. Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
really after that it's fine.
yeah.
And then it's telling me that okay, you got AI features already. I don't even know how much I'm going to use them because we haven't gotten a chance to get my hands on it. But that
Yeah,
wasn't enough to sell me on a brand new device.
yeah, no, yeah. And I mean, and all that stuff you said, like none of that is on there, so we'll get it too.
Yeah,
So it's like when you guys get it, we will too. So
right,
it's,
right. So
it's fine.
it's not even a you got it first and then it comes to us. It's we're gonna all be in the same boat together.
I would have been a little salty if the action button on the 16 got like double tap and triple tap or something.
Mm,
That's something I was hoping they were gonna do with the iOS 18. Give that button more, you know,
yeah,
ways to use it. Like it, because just right now you can just push it, hold it, and it does
right.
one thing. You can do a shortcut menu or whatever, but who wants to do all like?
I would have
I want
been
to be, you know,
I
yeah,
definitely would have been mad because that's a software thing. Like
yeah,
if you told me that that's only the 16 and 16 Pro, that's a software thing. You could have easily done that to all of them, but obviously none of them got it. Uh
yeah.
so well let's go ahead and get into some of these rumors. I we'll start off with the MacBook Pro M4 leaks. This is the baseline MacBook Pro. Um a Russian channel, Roman, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's like Roman Sev.
Yeah.
They somehow got a full video of it.
I saw
And I'll definitely
crazy.
make sure to link it below. But this is the second time actually because there was another channel that showed, I think, a full-on unboxing of it. And
Hmm.
between the two videos, now we know that it's a November 24 model. So that's sort of what's kind of spurred the video. It's got to be the event has to be within the next 3 weeks.
Right.
And the thing was the base. We're presuming it's the full-on base model because I don't think that they would. I don't think that somebody in the wild would have like an upgraded model, and
Hmm.
that means that it's starting at 16 gigs. There were 3 Thunderbolt ports, and it was space black, which was a color that the base MacBook Pro M3 didn't have. Out of
I thought
all of,
I thought I saw a HDMI port on the one I saw. Maybe I don't know.
oh, I didn't see
I
that one
thought I
then.
saw one that had a HDMI port. I
So
was like,
we're
huh.
talking three HDMI or 3 Thunderbolt 4 ports, and then an HDMI port.
I could have swore I saw that. I was like, huh. They're
I
adding ports
mean,
back.
there. Yeah, I was gonna say. Obviously, the once you start getting into the Pro and Max M varieties, they have an HDMI port. So it almost seems like they're trying to say like, well, you have to have a Pro model, even if it's an entry level Pro model, you get ports again.
Right.
And the biggest thing I was curious about with all of this is both of these were specifically M4, and we'll talk on it a little bit more later. I haven't heard too much anything concrete about the M4 Pro or M4 Max. Do you think that we're going to start getting more tiered releases? Like, obviously, it started with an iPad M4. Now we're getting a MacBook Pro M4. Like,
I'm always curious about these M4s and like the way they keep upgrading them. I feel like they're only useful for the MacBooks or the Mac Mini or something like that. When they
mm-hmm.
do it for like the Mac, like they do it for the iPad, I'm like, my iPad M1 sitting right here is phenomenal.
Yeah.
I just don't know how it's useful it can be in going from M3 to M4, right? Like, what is okay? 16 gigabytes of RAM, I guess you could say. Like, I've never been like that excited about when they talk when that stuff comes up. I'm like, oh yeah, the next more expensive MacBook Pro is coming. Woohoo! I don't know. It's just not unless you do something so intense.
So for me, I will say I was really excited hearing that because as a video editor,
Okay,
um DaVinci Resolve
yeah, I
takes
don't
a
do that.
lot of, yeah, fair. DaVinci Resolve takes a lot of memory
Ah,
and it takes a
okay.
lot of it takes a lot of graphics memory. So my biggest fear when I went to when I got my Mac Studio was that okay, I don't have a dedicated graphics card anymore. So I'm
Mhm.
beholden to whatever memory is on this device. And so luckily
Mhm.
with the Mac Studio, it came with 32.
Mhm.
Granted, while I do video editing, I don't do anything super intensive to the point where 32 wasn't going to be enough. So I was fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
The MacBook Pro, unless I wanted to get the M4 Pro or M4 Max, it
Mhm.
started at 8. And on
It
paper,
started at 8?
yeah, it starts at 8.
Oh my
So on
god. What?
paper, it's supposedly good enough. That's sort of like, oh,
Okay.
you'll be fine. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true. That
Hmm.
sounds like marketing to me. And I'm really afraid that in 2014 or 2024, we're still starting at 8. It's just crazy to me. So if this is true and we're starting at 16, it sort of opens up the world of choices for people who are doing more creative things to be
Okay.
like, well, do I need to go get an M4 Pro or an M4 Max if all I needed is 16 gigs and an M4 can do so much?
Okay.
So that's where I'm at with it. But I do
Okay.
understand for like someone who's not doing more creative stuff. Granted, 8 is still ridiculous.
It is.
Chrome probably eats
It
all
is.
8 if we
Oh,
being honest.
Chrome sucks.
Like if we
What's
being
up?
honest, Chrome is eating all of that up. But I get what you mean. It's those are more of like the I feel like those are more towards the, like the creative pros. But the extra Thunderbolt port and HDMI port, if those are true, now we talking again.
Right.
Less dongles is always better.
That is true. That is true. I'm trying to find that video that was telling you that I was just talking about.
Yeah, it's a
It was an
shame because
unboxing.
I know the ones that I had linked here. I don't know when those are gonna ever go down. Like YouTube could snatch those down in between the time that we are recording this and the time that this goes up. But
That's
I,
true.
it's it's crazy. I haven't seen Apple have a leak this bad in a while.
I think I saw somebody make a joke. They were like, they must have handed it to the same people that Google gives their Pixel to.
I swear because this
It
to, like obviously we always get like word of what there's going to be, but a full on unboxing was crazy.
was. I was like, huh. All right. I was like, this is somebody getting fired, or if they can find them, because
Yeah, if they could find that person, they are never working for anything Apple again. They might not work in anything tech
they
again.
might
Like,
anybody. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm about to say anybody.
Oh,
Um,
go ahead.
no, no, no. Okay, you about to say next?
I was gonna say we can go to the next big. I think the big or a rumor is this Mac Mini redesign. It's another thing I'm really interested in. Um, Obviously the Mac Mini hasn't had a redesign since 2010, so it's been what 14 years. Uh, they're completely skipping M3, and it's gonna have
Mm-hmm.
either an M4 or M4 Pro chip, and they're taking away all of the USB-A chips or USB-A ports rather. Sorry, which would
Mm-hmm.
mean there are no Apple devices that would have USB-A anymore. They are explicitly obsolete, and it's supposed to look like an Apple TV but slightly taller. Are you here
Yes,
with the smaller but more robust Mac Mini? I know you
I
have a
think
Mac
that
Mini, right?
I haven't met many. Yeah, just the M1 one right here. That would be very cool. The Apple TV is a lot smaller
A lot
than this,
smaller.
so I mean, the portability of it would be cool. I guess if somebody wanted to take it somewhere, and they have all these. I mean, they have it now where like the iPad can be a screen and all sorts. I don't know. People do some crazy stuff now.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
see that the thing. If you want to take your 12.9-inch or 13-inch iPad and,
Right.
and your Mac Mini and plug it in, I guess you could. I think that's really cool, and I think that's now takeaway ports and always not the best thing.
So,
You
to
know.
be fair with that, they say that it's not full on taking away of the ports, that they're going to be converted to USB-C.
Okay.
So I think on the current Mac Mini, and let me see, I have it up to the
I have
side.
I have two. I
Okay,
think.
so you have two.
I
I
have
think
two.
on the current there are two. Uh, yeah, there are two USB C and I think two USB A. I think there are
Yes, and
four
then
port. Yeah, there are
and then
four ports
HDMI.
total. Then the
I think
HDMI.
HDMI
I don't.
too.
I didn't hear anything about HDMI going away, so I would assume that that's still staying.
Yeah.
And I think the idea is that it would just be all Thunderbolt ports.
Okay. I
So
mean, who don't have a dongle nowadays? I mean,
seriously, I mean,
I mean, it's fine, I guess. I mean, I have so many, so many around here.
I
But yeah, I don't know.
it's going to be interesting because I remember one of the things when the Mac Studio came out was big on portability. To your point,
Mhm.
it was big
Yeah,
on your studio is in your backpack. They
yeah,
have full on backpacks for it and everything. And
yeah.
now we're getting even smaller. And I'm really curious about if some of those people who were in the Mac Studio market, well, you're probably not going to want to get an M4 Pro Mac Mini if you were having a M. I think the latest studio is an M3 or M2, but it's an M2 Max, so it's like it's a sort of a weaker chip, but it's more portable. So I'm curious about how much
Mm,
of that market is going to go. Well, I don't need this robust of a chip. I can take this. Portability is my thing. So
hmm. I don't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it being small as the Apple TV and as powerful as the one, like as the Mac Studio.
yeah,
I mean, they'll do their comparisons in
sure.
when they show it, and maybe they'll go there. Maybe they'll be like, "It's as powerful as the Mac Studio," which is
I
very
mean,
interesting if they try
I
that.
feel like I'm curious how much more powerful an M4 Pro is than an M2 Max. Because they always do their comparisons like this is more powerful than this is more
Yeah,
powerful, but they always go chip to chip to
they
try to
do.
obviously not cannibalize sales. But it's like at some point, an M4 Pro has to be either on par or more powerful than a chip that's two generations back, even if it is on a higher category, I guess, higher family.
I mean, they could say it's, I don't know, slightly more powerful than the M2 Max, and then they could say it also has the, what did they add, what was it, GPU that they added to the M4, right? That's what they
Yes.
added to it.
So I think they're gonna all be 10 core GPUs. I just had
Yeah.
that up and uh
I
let
need to
me
see.
see.
I need to watch more videos and see if like how how great is that compared to like these uh what the Nvidia like how much better is it for gaming really? I mean, I know they say it is, but
Yeah,
can it really handle it like they
so like in some of the benchmarks, so like for example, this benchmark that I'm looking at right now, it's saying that the M2 10 core GPU is about uh it runs better than they're claiming like a 3050 or a
okay.
2050. But when you're getting to like a 4060 or a 3060, going even higher, 3080 and all of that, I feel like because they're dedicated, they still run circles around them. I think at that point you're looking at more of the sort of the whole integrated thing together.
Mm.
Um, it has its benefits of being on the same chip. It's probably faster just in terms of processing power and stuff like that, but it's also still on that smaller chip. You're not having as much stuff that can do it. I also need to watch more videos on it to know it better, but it is something that's curious. I want to ask you though, as you already have you said M1 Mac Mini,
Hmm.
would this get you to upgrade? If it had the M4, say if you wanted even M4 Pro, whichever you wanted, but it's smaller, it has the four Thunderbolt ports, still has HDMI. Obviously, I think the big thing is that it's supposed to be smaller, so it's less of a footprint on your desktop. Would that get you to upgrade?
Well, possibly because right now the Mac Mini, this I got the base model, so it's the
Sure.
Mac Mini 8 GB. It does like you said, Chrome eats it up.
Chrome, yeah, I'm sure. And
Chrome
you
will
know what?
eat it up.
Let's also assume that all Mac M4s are starting at 16. We don't know for sure, but let's assume based off of the MacBook Pro.
We got to see what that price look like, and what the trade in look like.
Okay,
So
okay.
because I mean, Apple has been in the past have done like little trade ins and stuff for.
Hmm.
Nothing's like got me to pull the trigger to do it because I would like to use my Mac Mini more, like the reason I got it because I thought it would be better for like when we're video streaming, where they're doing when we're podcasting and all that stuff. I thought it worked better, but it ultimately it didn't work as great as I was hoping it would.
That's
Um,
because of that eight. That's my fear.
yeah,
That 8 gigs. It's like anything they claim it works well, but I feel like that's for like word processing, surfing the
yeah,
internet. Like you're not doing anything creative, and I'm
yeah,
gonna lump even podcasting into that.
yeah.
Like
Because
so,
we're doing video podcasting, so we're like,
right,
we're live for hours and
right,
all that
like
stuff, and it
so
doesn't. It it was fine for a little while, but then I was like, okay, I'm tired. I'm tired
the,
of this.
the things started eating it up. I get you.
Yeah. And like compatibility of, I guess I don't know, like audio compatibility of Mac and
Hmm.
all that. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like Apple just a little more difficult than it should be. Like,
Yeah,
why is this so hard for me to get this audio thing to work like it does on Windows?
that is
Um,
fair.
you know,
I've definitely had an easier time with my Windows desktop getting everything to work together
plug and
than
play. It's more plug and
it's
play
definitely more plug
than
and
it
play.
is on Mac for some reason. I don't know. I don't know.
No, I get you. I think maybe as I feel like as more creative stuff, obviously Mac has been long for creators. That's
Right.
sort of been like the unofficial tagline. So as more creators start building utilities for them for
Hmm.
themselves, I think that's when things will start getting better. And I do feel like has in the more recent years than it was when I first got my Mac. Like it was bad. And some of those headaches are no longer there, but it definitely could stand to get better.
Right.
Let's move to the M4 iMac. Um, the M4 iMac itself, it's going to be the same 24-inch one.
Mm.
They had it. I think they don't. I think they're still at the M3. No, they're at the M4 or M2 rather. So they're
Yeah,
going to go
I
up to
don't
the
think they
M4.
upgraded again. Yeah, I don't
I
think.
feel
Yeah,
like a lot of devices didn't get the M3.
yeah.
They sort of
I wonder
got
why
to.
that is.
I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, my biggest honest takeaway is: do you think we'll ever get again a larger iMac? Like remember they had the 27-inch iMac, and do you think we're gonna ever get one that has like a Pro or a Max, or even an Ultra chip in it? Like they're always just base chips now.
I'm like whenever I see the iMac, I think they look ugly.
Really,
I hate that bottom bar
really.
on them. I'm like, why is it not the whole screen now? Like, why are we still? It gets. I mean, I get you want to show that color, but the little stand could be the color. Like, let's get this. Like,
So you
let's
want
make
the
this look
entire
good.
screen to be white, or are you saying you want the entire screen to be the color?
Just
Because I
be a
know,
screen. Just be a
oh,
screen.
just be a screen.
Yeah. Like, I want it nice. Like, I don't
Okay,
want it.
okay.
Like, this is Mac. Why does it look like this? It costs $1,300.
Yeah,
Like, what?
the base one is 13. That is interesting. I know a lot of people really like that color. I know my brother has the iMac. I think he has the
Which one?
M1 iMac.
Okay. Okay.
And he really likes it. I don't know what color he has. I'm gonna have to ask him.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, I know people like I've never like I've never had one before, but I just think they look I just don't look.
that is, I mean, the
I
chin at the
also hate
bottom
the
is crazy.
cutout on the MacBook too. I just hate that. I hate that too. Some things I
Oh,
just hate how they look. Like the
interesting.
cutout on the MacBook look ugly to
The
me. I was
cutout is
like,
crazy. I've gotten over it. I don't think it's the best design, but I think it's the best we have. I'd rather that than like a pinhole camera on my laptop.
I would like okay, I don't know if you seen the iPad like that. Like my even
Yeah.
my iPad Pro
Hmm.
M1 has that. I mean, of course we don't want bezel, but they hide
I
like the
don't mind
bezel goes.
bezel. I know everyone else doesn't want bezel. I
Yeah,
don't mind a little bezel. Like,
it goes around, but the camera part's inside the bezel, so it's like
okay,
it doesn't stick out. Like on my iPad, you if you're not paying attention, you wouldn't see it. It's just inside that black bezel that goes around the screen already. So I was
right.
like, that's cool instead of that ugly cutout. And on the MacBook, it looks crazier to me. It looks like it's worse than it is on the phones.
I think it's because the screen on the MacBook. I
Some
feel like
designs Apple decide on just crazy to me. Sometimes I'm
I,
like, but
I feel like it's just because like on the phone, I don't maybe because it's smaller. I don't know. I'm trying to look at them both side by side, and
MacBook it just look ugly. I was like,
I,
why? Why
I
is it there?
you know what? I have no good reason. Um, but so I know you don't like the design of the iMac. Does that mean that you don't care whether or not it ever gets a Pro or?
I think they're cool because they're all in one devices, and
Hmm.
those are always cool. Even like Windows ones was all in one. I think that's great and easy for people to get into. Mac Mini, you got to hook a screen up to hook a mouse,
Yeah,
hook key, all that stuff. But the iMac is all in one. I think they should continue making them. I think they should be cheaper than the prices I usually see for those.
yeah. It always
I'm
starts at
like,
what 1300.
that's not. I feel like they should be like the entry level price. I feel like this, not I don't know, like 800 or something. Like, it should be like a entry level. Like if you want something more, like you want something like super powerful, then you go to the MacBook. You go to the Mac Studio, like we said before,
Sure.
or something like that. More of a tech consumer device. iMac, I feel like is more for the everyday person. At least it should be.
I
But when you
feel
got
like
that kind of price tag on it, I don't think so.
I feel like it kind of is supposed to be for the everyday person. Um, but they're trying to give you the well, if you have a
Hmm.
Mac Mini, you're paying what 700, I think is base price, right? 699,
Hmm.
and you're gonna need a display, so you're gonna get the studio display. Well, the studio display on by itself is 1600. So they're
Exactly.
like, we're giving you a discount by bundling them together, and you're only paying 1300. So I think that's sort of their philosophy.
Uh,
I agree with you. I do think that that's crazy. I think the studio display is kind of overpriced for a 27-inch screen. It's insane.
what was
Um,
that crazy display they put out that time that was like, oh,
oh, the
that Pro
Pro
Display
display,
XBR?
that I think that one starts at
That
here
thing was like
actually I'm on their
3,000, wasn't
website.
it?
It starts
It was
at
crazy. Oh,
49.99.
5,000.
Yes.
5,000.
49.99. And that doesn't give you the that doesn't
The
give you the
stain.
stand. The stand is another 1,000. So look,
That's comical. When you think over there, I'm like, come on.
so
Really?
but look, that means that what is that 1,300 you're paying for an iMac is a variable discount. You are getting bargain bin prices at that rate.
Apple need to be stopped.
Yeah, they are insane. Um, but moving on to the next, this isn't even a rumor. This is just something I haven't been able to find anything concrete, and it sort of goes back to the question I was asking earlier. The M4 Pro and Max MacBook Pros.
Hmm.
Mark Gurman, he was stating that they should be due anytime between the end of this year, so that should give you the November, December, or
Hmm.
early next year. Which is like, how? What are we really doing
Why?
a big October MacBook event for
And
the
not get them?
MacBook Pro?
Yeah.
Like, what are again? Are we starting to tear out these tear out these releases? But we know M5 is coming next year. Like, what are we kind of doing here?
Yeah. I don't know. Like all these delays, all these here's the announcement, you'll get in 2 months. I always think those are so weird. Um, usually Apple ends their event with it'll be on pre-order Friday or whatever, whatever they'll be saying. I think that's usually the smarter thing to do. I don't
Yeah,
understand why any of these companies do that where they announce things and it'll be like, oh, you can pre-order in 3 months. I'm like, I'll forget about it by then. Like,
right.
like
Uh,
let's not do that. Why even have an event if you can't actually why do an event if on your mind if you really do want it? Because some people will. Some
mm-hmm.
people be ready to buy it as soon as you announce it. So why not have it ready for pre-order? Why do that? Or have you pre-order and you still don't get it for 2 months? I never understand that. I never understand that process or why they do stuff like that. So
I
hopefully
mean,
that's not the case.
yeah.
And hopefully you get it in two
What was the
weeks.
charger thing called? The power thing? Oh,
that
I can't
was
remember the
air
name.
power. It
Air
wasn't air power,
power.
was it?
I think it was
Yeah,
air power. Um,
yeah, that was, and it never came at all.
no, so it's
Like,
like I'm curious of what happened to that. That was announced September 2017. We are 7 years later. Like, Um,
We're gonna
and
beat
then
everybody
last,
else's charger, and
it
nothing.
looked phenomenal, and I'm
It
like,
did.
I
It
wasn't
did.
gonna buy it because there were other chargers that did the same thing for much
Right.
cheaper,
I was like,
but
no.
it looked cool.
Yeah.
So that's that. But then the last thing I wanted to talk about before we talk about the missing items, because this is the last one that I have a concrete sort of rumor that's it's going to be announced, is the iPad Mini.
Hmm.
Um, Obviously, like I said, the refreshers reported it. There haven't really been any major details about it. So the only question I have is, do you think that they give it an M series chip to differentiate it from the iPhone 16? The iPhone 16 is 6.9 inches. This is a seven. I think it's 7.9-inch screen for the iPad Mini.
Mm-hmm.
For essentially 1 extra inch, are you putting the same chip in? Because I would assume it has to have the chip either for the 15 Pro or the 16 series, because it has to have Apple Intelligence.
Yeah,
Are you
that's true.
are you not giving it the M series chip to sort of make it be like, this is more premium? You should want this and the iPhone, because at that point, do you really care about getting an iPad Mini if you have an iPhone 16? Hell, at an iPhone 15, I don't know if I care about it.
I mean, the 16 Pro Max is bigger now too.
Yeah, I
They
think
made
it's
it a
6.9 inches.
6.9, right?
Yeah,
And the iPad Mini is 8.3, the newest
8.3.
one.
Okay,
The newest one is 8.3. So it's like,
so 1.5 inches.
yeah, I same thing I've been talking about when it comes to the iPad. You know, the iPad Pro, they still haven't made it where I feel like the M chip is really used to its fullest ability.
Sure.
So it's like giving the iPad Mini M series chip is just like, why? Unless you're gonna put, I don't know, the M2 in it. I don't know. I don't think it needs an M4, but you shouldn't do that if you have the M4 coming out. So you just,
Well,
I guess, just put it in there. I guess, but it's like,
I mean, that is
I
what
don't
they
know.
did with the iPad Air. Like, that has the M2 in it. So it could, I could see them doing that to sort of show that, okay, these are supposed to be more premium, but they're not our pro models. Like, this isn't an iPad Mini Pro. This is just the iPad Mini, and all of our iPads will have M series processors. I don't think the regular iPad does, but I'm sure that'll probably happen next year.
Yeah. I don't know. I would love for them to. I mean, my ultimate goal for them to do anyway is the iPhone and iPad Mini together,
Sure,
and it
the
folds and
foldable.
opens up. I would love that. I would jump on that so fast. That's something that I would love for them to do. But I have a feeling that's a while from now. And then I would say give it the M chip. When you do that, that's when you give it the M chip.
I
Right
don't.
now, I just do not see the iPad Mini needing that. It'd be cool. I mean, sure, but what
Sure.
utilizes it?
Yeah,
You know,
I mean, that's fair. I'm just trying to think, what else could you do with the iPad Mini at this point that is really going to get people to be like, yeah, I need that. Unless you're buying it for like your child, who obviously they have smaller hands, so a smaller device will be easier for them to use. But what's going to get people just like excited to buy the iPad Mini again? And somebody in the comments might prove me wrong and say they're an iPad Mini fanatic. More power to them. I wouldn't be buying it.
I think they're really cool and I think they're very useful. The newest version of it, I thought because they made it look like an iPad Pro, like with
Mm-hmm.
the bezel going all the way around
Mm-hmm.
and nothing's interrupting the screen. I do like that they did that. I just don't know what else they can do to it besides maybe reducing the bezel a little bit, and that's really it. Like you can't. It's. I feel like it's already a really great design of it. Just like I feel like the same way about the iPad Pro. I feel like the design is already great. I don't know what else you do to it. It already can use the Apple Pencil. It's small enough to carry around. I just don't know what else you could do to the iPad Mini that would make someone that already has like, what is this, the seventh generation one?
Yeah, this will be
I
the
just,
seventh, I think, coming up.
yeah, I just really don't. I don't. They can surprise me now,
Yeah,
but I just don't see anything. that they could do to it currently to me that would make anybody want to be like, oh, I need the new one.
Hmm.
I just don't see it. I don't know what else you need to improve. I think it's great on where it is.
Okay.
Maybe give it that new iPad Pencil Pro, or that Pro Pencil, or whatever that they came out with.
Yeah.
I
The
guess that would be the coolest thing. Now it can support that because that is locked to the iPad Pro, the iPad Pro M4, which was crazy to me. I was like, why would you lock that to that one
you can't
device?
even use it with the newest Air. I thought you could.
I don't think so. They love to do that.
They do love to do that. You're right.
Certain pencils work for certain iPads, so it's like
That is crazy. Let me see. I'm on Apple's website still. Let's see. The new Pencil Pro. You can't use it with the new Air, so you can use it with
okay, the
the
new
Pro
Air.
and
Okay,
the
okay,
M2 Air.
okay.
So
Yeah, I can't use it. I can't use it with my iPad Pro, so it doesn't work for my iPad Pro M1. It's only
interestingly,
M2 and M4s. That's it.
you
So
can't even use it with you can't even use it with the M2 iPad Pro though. It's for the
no,
iPad Pros, it's literally just
only
this newest
M4.
one, and then it's only the newest iPad Air. If you have that
Yeah,
iPad, you can't even use older pencils with it.
it's
So
just it's so weird that they. I
it's
get it. I get it. Some kind of like whatever the digitizer they put inside of it. I get
hmm
it, but it's like it's so wild to me.
no, yeah, I
Um,
agree.
but I think that's what they'll add on here. They'll add the new iPad Mini, and it'll be able to use this new pencil as well.
Hmm.
That'd be the one thing I felt they could add. And like I think the new the iPad Pro, the bezels got smaller.
Yeah,
Do the same thing. Do the bezels, the
probably they'll probably
pencil.
move the camera how like they did
Yes,
on these ones.
yes, and that's it. I
Yeah,
don't see what
that's
else you can do to it. I don't know. I don't necessarily know if it need. Like I said, maybe just give it the M2. I don't know if it needs the M4 or maybe M3.
mm,
Give it M3. Give it M3. I guess not. I don't. I just don't know if the M4 would be because the iPad Air is the newest one has the M2. To differentiate you, give it the M3. I guess. That's it. There's nothing else they can do to improve that. Yeah. I don't know. I think that's it.
that is fair. And then the last thing before any whatever closing comments are about the three items I think that are missing.
Hmm.
The Mac Pro and Mac Studio, we have nothing on them. Actually, they were saying that they should be introduced sometime next year, which is interesting to me.
I think they're dead.
I hope not. I like the Mac Studio.
I think they're dead.
I really the Mac Pro.
If
I can
they come out
understand,
with an Apple TV size Mac Mini that is M4 Pro, that's dead. Them things are dead. That's what
but
I
the
feel
Mac
like.
that's the Mac Studio was in for was Max and Ultras. Like they didn't have a Pro version of the Mac Studio.
I think that's dead too.
Oh my
That
god,
branding. That branding.
that would be
Yeah.
terrible. The Mac Studio was a great product. The Mac Pro I can understand because especially once it went to M4, it didn't make sense anymore to have or not M4, I'm sorry, when it went to the M series just in general.
Wasn't that super expensive?
Yeah,
Like
it looked that was the one that looked like the
that
cheese
thing
grater.
was crazy. Yeah.
And it's like when you came out with the Mac Studio, it stopped making sense to have the
Yeah.
Mac Pro.
Yeah.
So if one of the two, if I would hope if one of the two were dead, it would be the Mac Pro. Leave the Mac Studio alone. Leave it alive. But I hope not. And then the MacBook Air didn't get any type of love. I know it got refreshed to M3 earlier this year, but
Mhm.
again, are you just skipping M4 and going straight? Because M5 is going to be coming out next year. We know it is.
I maybe trying to keep the cost low on the MacBook Air, and maybe that's why they're not doing it. Cause I'm like, I just know that that'll just just make it higher, it'll just make it more expensive. It'll make it not. MacBook Air is also supposed to be the
Entry
easiest
level.
accessible one.
Yeah.
Like that's supposed to be the one that everybody can get. When
Hmm.
you hear MacBook Pro, you know that price is not that price is high. So when you Air, it's like okay, I can try to get the
Fair.
MacBook Air. Um, I don't think they want to do too much to that. They're like, let's just let's chill out. Let them have the Air that needs it for school or whatever. Let's save the parents' pockets
That is
for
fair. Yeah. I
school.
mean, they might always stay. a generation behind
Yeah,
just so they could stay cheaper.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
and then the last one actually we already talked about was the M4 Pro Max iMac. So we are actually out of all of the rumors and topics. Was there anything else you wanted to add it before we get out of here?
No, I just, like I was saying about Apple Intelligence earlier, I just think it's crazy that the advertisers are doing what they're doing, and I feel like honestly fooling people.
Mm-hmm.
If this stuff is not on these iPhones and iPads and Macs um by Christmas, this a mess.
They might announce it at the event. To be fair, it might be announced at the event that hey, these are here now.
Yeah.
We'll see. Are you excited for the event?
I see. Okay, see, for me, I don't know of any of these devices that I will be personally getting. I'm
Okay.
all excited to watch just to see what features they put in them
Mm-hmm.
because I was like, what's coming to me? What's coming to
Okay.
my iPad? What's coming to my Mac Mini? Possibly any of it. I
Mm-hmm.
just want to see if some of the stuff I'll still get. That's why I was like, oh, I might not get all the stuff y'all get, but I'll get a little bit of it. So let me
Fair.
see.
No,
So yeah,
I definitely get that. I'm excited on a personal level because I do obviously I've been talking about it for the better part of the year. I do need a new MacBook. I do need a new iPad. I kind of held off on both of those. I was moving, and then it got too late in the like release cycle where I was like, I'm going to buy and they're going to announce. Let me just hold off to the end of the year.
hmm
So this is right for me for picking. We'll see if I get something that really excites me. But if not, then at least the M2 or M3 MacBooks will be cheaper, and that iPad Air is still calling my name. So, all
okay, yeah, it makes sense.
right, well,
It should
yeah,
be a
I
fun
mean,
event.
it
It
should
should
be
be
a good
fun either way,
event.
though. Yeah,
I'm curious when the announcements are going to go out because I know as of recording, there still haven't been anything concrete to say, hey, this is happening. But again, if we're taking those early leaks of the MacBook Pro, the device itself has to come out by November.
it's it's always crazy how late they announce these things. I'm like, these people that you invite, what if they can't come? And you were like, hey, it's in 3 days. What?
I wonder if they're going to do. Remember, the last one was on Halloween.
Hmm.
Because remember, it was spooky fast.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So
That was funny. That was cool though.
I'm
Yeah,
curious if they're going to do something like that again. And we'll see. Like I said, it should be a good time, no wherever. And I definitely would love to bring you back to sort of talk about
oh
all of the
yeah,
announcements afterwards. These are fun. I want to do some more of these, like even with Samsung, with Google, just
yeah,
more of the different stuff. It's going to be hard with those because Samsung feel like they get leaked. We'll know everything. We won't have to speculate. Same with
yeah.
Google, but
That's
it'll be
true.
fun to talk more tech. Like I said, that is a real big goal for the channel. So you should see more stuff like this. But Trayvon, where can the people find you? What do you got coming up? All that jazz.
You can find me at Nerd with the Tech. Everywhere basically. TikTok, it has an underscore at the end of it. You can find me on Unhealthy and Unstable. That's a podcast I do with Joanna Joel. We do that Thursdays currently because Ackley comes on Wednesdays.
Right.
So that's when we do that. But you guys also do a sports podcast that I don't know nothing about on Wednesdays right now. I
Oh,
usually
actually,
yeah,
no. I was gonna. I can chime in with that because I think we're on the last two episodes of that because it was the 6 and 6. We were going through every NBA division, sort of talking of just the division preview, talking about the teams, what we think they'll do this year, where we think they'll be, all that stuff. And like I said, we're on our last two divisions. By the time this comes out, we'll actually probably be on our last division.
hmm,
Because obviously, as of recording, tomorrow is Wednesday.
yes. But yeah, so we do it on Thursdays because we talk about all the like the nerd shit and all that on Thursdays. So right now, so I don't know what y'all be talking about all that sports stuff. I'm like, who the men? And that's all I
Who
got.
the men is crazy. Oh no, I get you. That's fair.
But yeah, that's
We'll
it.
we'll
That's all
get
I
you.
got.
We'll get you onto a sports episode one day. You could do fantasy. Like I saw someone on Twitter said that their friend he knows nothing about football, and he did his entire fantasy league on which dude was the hottest.
See, okay, I would do some mess like that, but it's just like I probably lose just because of
I
that.
don't
I'm
think
like,
he's doing well because he had I remember the tweet that made her tweet it out because it was Mina Kimes. I don't think you know who Mina Kimes is. She's a sports analyst.
mm,
The reason she tweeted it out is because she was like, my friend just offered me Patrick Mahomes, who's for anybody who doesn't know, he's probably the best quarterback in the NFL for Jimmy Garoppolo, who's not that great, but
mm,
in the guy's eyes looks a lot better. And so he wanted the hottest team in terms of looks, not in terms of players. So I don't think the guy's doing too well, but he probably likes looking at his lineup every day. So
aha.
he's happy about that at least.
Okay. Well, hey, maybe we'll figure something out one day.
You can find me at DidgeD everywhere. Subscribe, like, hit the bell, all of that stuff. Like I said, there should be a lot of stuff coming. Follow all my geek stuff over there on Geek Set Podcast. That's where all my gaming stuff will be when I'm not going live on Twitch or any other extra videos. Hit the bell, like, subscribe over there because we also have a lot of good stuff coming. But until next time, peace out.
Peace.